Okay, so hi everyone. This is Karen over in Italy. I know we've got a lot of Italy overlap this evening, and I'm going to be doing a tour in June from Milan to Pisa. Might not be the most exciting name for a tour, but let's just say marketing is not exactly my forte. What I love doing is sharing my adopted country of Italy and designing travel opportunities that get to the core of what the country's really about. I want to share these aspects of Italy that are things that to me you travel for and not, which is why you're not going there from home. You have to come on over here and see it for yourself. We have 3 nights in 4 completely different areas of northern Italy and a single night stop in Pisa to top it all off with a jaw-dropping local festival. And we start in Milan, so we wander from the vibrant fashion-forward city of Milan to the food capital Parma, onto the sleepy seaside village of Porto Venere, and down to my neck of the woods, the coastal wine country of Tuscany. I'm really into like travel experiences that sort of tickle all of our senses, and here we get to go to the Carrara marble quarries and get our hands dirty with the same marble dust that Michelangelo did when he was up there picking out his blocks of marble. We'll get up close and personal with the roar of a Ferrari engine. Actually, we get to drive through the factory in a minibus, not in an actual Ferrari. And I'm not even actually a car person, but I fell in love with just the craftsmanship and the history. The museum is gorgeous. Being able to actually see where they make the cars was an incredible experience that I want to share with travelers when they come over here. And speaking of craftsmanship, you know, from cars to statues to violins, this is a violin workshop in Cremona. I really think craftsmanship is at the heart of what makes Italy so enticing. There's that, and then of course wine and food. I don't know. It's evening time over here in Italy. I'm actually getting hungry after listening to all of my colleagues talk. And food is, you know, it's one of the things that you can't taste when you are watching a documentary. You have to be there in person. So trying Parmesan cheese after watching masters show you from the very beginning to the end the entire process, or sampling 50-year-old balsamic vinegar that you're tasting straight out of the barrel. Those are the sort of things that, in my opinion, really make memories that last a lifetime and introduce you to what culture is really about. Food is actually what I miss the very most when I'm away, except for possibly my husband, depending on if he's with me or not. Sometimes I even dream about it when I'm not in Italy. And in December, Italian cooking was awarded a special cultural heritage status by the United Nations Cultural Agency, UNESCO. So you absolutely cannot overstate how important food and wine are to the Italians. So if you join me this June, make sure you bring an empty stomach, because food is going to be a top priority. As are a couple of world famous sites. Now, I know some people out there have the attitude that that is too touristy. But let's be honest, there are reasons that these places deserve our attention. I was left absolutely speechless the first time I saw The Last Supper in person by Leonardo da Vinci up in Milan. It is completely different than seeing it in a book. And despite what you may have heard, it is actually very, very cool to see a 900-year-old leaning tower, especially in the evening when most of the visitors that come to Pisa have left and we kind of have it to ourselves. Then there's also places that look just like their famous neighbors, but with many, many fewer visitors. So colorful quaint seaside villages, they dot the entire Ligurian coast. They're just a stone's throw away from the ultra famous Cinque Terre. And here we get to do something, okay, we're back to food, sorry. We get to do something here that's like breaking the rules, the Italian food rules, which is we get to dip our focaccia in our cappuccino. And being in the first half of June, we also get to dip our toes in the Mediterranean Sea, maybe even a little bit more because it should be warm. And I really think the first half of June is a great time for this tour because we get the warm weather, but without the massive crowds that visit the coastal areas a little bit later in the summer. Then this area here is the coastal vineyards of the Tuscan coast. So not the most famous wine area of the country, but producing some of the best wines and my stomping ground. So this is where I hang out. This is where I live. This is where my friends are. It was once the homeland of a pre-Roman Etruscan civilization, but now it's home to, like I said, some of the best wines in the country. It's a place to relax, enjoy marvelous countryside. The views are incredible, and we get to explore medieval villages. This is where time slows down. So these little villages that kind of dot the coast here, they they have treasures around every corner. We find all these markers explaining things like medieval measurements, which were wild because they would be different between each village. We find monuments to the unification of Italy in the 1860s. We see plaques that show the number of locals voting for a republic versus a monarchy after World War II. And they're just these magical little villages. Local families go back generations. You feel like you're in a place that, you know, modern times has sort of forgotten. I mean, until you see the teenagers on their phones, but it's still a very long way from where we begin this adventure in Milan. And these sorts of things, these sorts of experiences, what I've talked about here, are what make my adopted country my home, and what I wanted to share with you guys today, and also what I want to share with everybody joining me in June. So with that, I want to wish everybody a happy travel-filled 2026.